Hi guys, I'm Richie. I do anime reviews, but mostly I also just write and direct and do some silly voices on the show. I'm here with JoeFreshest. If you don't know
Uh,
his channel, well, FreshestAnme, right? I'm getting that correct. Yeah. He's had a lot of the same copyright issues that we have had as well with YouTube being YouTube. And we'll talk
oh,
about the
bro, dude, I literally just got a copyright strike. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the
Oh,
channel, the channel just got a copyright strike, and it's because of fucking manhwa and manga and stuff like that, man. That stuff is dangerous, man.
I
Solo leveling, man.
that is why I have made it a point that if we that when it comes to light novel reading, Twitch only. Like it's absolutely Twitch only stuff.
Yeah, I think that for the manhwa stuff, what we're gonna do from now on is just upload the new one, let it chill for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
private it, and then put it on Patreon.
Now,
I think it's so much better.
now
It's
quickly,
so
I
dangerous.
do want to let everybody know that this initially started off. We were gonna sit down and review a show together, but as we were doing that, we realized it's not enough episodes for us to really give a decent
Yeah.
review of it. So
Because
it's
honestly,
just
if you tried to, I would just be like, it's all right.
yeah,
Because
and
just
that would
because we need more plot, we need more everything
yeah,
at this point.
there's a lot more that we need to break down just in general with a lot of the shows this season. At least let the shows get about halfway through at the very least before, so that means we need at least 2 to 3 more weeks before we're going to sit down and start dissecting an actual show. And
Yeah.
so instead of pulling one apart, I was like, well, there's a lot of conversations that we realize that we have as either an abridged channel or a reaction channel or like doing reviews and stuff that we find a lot of commonality in some of the behind the
Just
scenes stuff when it comes to things like thumbnails, copyright, all that stuff. So why not just have like a quick little conversation about that? And maybe it'll give you guys some insight as to what all goes into creating this stuff before, yeah, because I'm of that mind. I look at this stuff, I look at reactions, and I'm like, that's really cool. I'd love to do that, but then I'm like, I know how much work goes into that, and my brain is immediately like, yeah, we don't want to do that. Like I like
also,
watching
yeah.
shows. I like watching shows.
Reactions, man. Yeah, that's one thing that I think sucks a lot about doing reactions is you have to react,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, and it also means that since you're recording the reaction, you can't just binge a series
Mm.
and like just binge it and not care. Like you have to give input. I mean, I think that the best reactions are ones that actually review what's going on afterwards, give some predictions for future episodes, note anything that was like really interesting within the episode because just reacting, that's it. I don't think that that's like the best way to enjoy that sort of content. Like, yeah, sure, you can get my reaction, but then like why does it even need to be a full length? If you just want to see like the best parts, and bro, I could just give you like 3 minute video, just the best parts, and that's it. If you don't really care about what I have to say on top of that, then I don't see the point of making a full video that's like that,
Well, part of it is I want to see if other people had kind of like the same reaction to certain moments that I did. So that's kind of part of it on mine. But I also do like theory crafting and things like that. Of course, with certain shows that you've reacted to where I already know what's coming up, I won't go through the theories because if I start listening to the theories, I'm gonna really want to confirm or deny like your little question. And I'm like, I've learned. I'm like, nope. Just when it comes to this stuff, just nope, nope.
Yeah, if and here's a tip for anybody that does reactions. If the series has a following, don't read the comments. Fuck it. I when I started off, I was like, okay, I want to reply to everyone.
Ooh.
But then you quickly find out that you can't filter good and bad. So you end up dealing with the bad commenters, the ones that are like, oh, that thing that you said, that's not true. Actually, let me just tell you how the story ends. And those people are fucking horrible, and it happens quite often. So if you do reactions, just don't deal with them that way. If people want to talk to you, they can talk to you on like Twitter or something. If they don't really hit you up on Twitter, that's fine. Fuck it. Who cares?
Speaking of which, I DM'd you those links you were to the trailers. Did you get those?
Yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
I
cool,
think
cool,
I
cool.
added a section in my Discord because another person, Helen, was like, "Hey, you should have a section in your Discord where we could just post new trailers." And I was like,
That is a
"That is
good
a
idea.
phenomenal idea."
Yeah.
So yeah, we literally added that. I did. I was actually, so I know I was late to this call, and I saw that you were on D&D on Discord, so I was like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm going to start doing a reaction for Cowboy Bebop. I recorded the intro, and then you replied to me, and I was like, okay, so maybe not. Yeah, I'll do the reaction for the trailer later, but yeah,
There you
I'm
go.
late on it. That's the only. Here's another thing: if
I
you do reactions to trailers, do them as soon as you possibly can. Doing trailer reactions is a great way to grow a reaction channel because it establishes things before the series shows up. The only thing is, if you are late to that trailer dropping, like let's say the trailer drops, like let's say it dropped a week ago,
mm,
I am going to get significantly less people to ever click on it. The performance, it's not going to perform well. People aren't really going to find the channel. Like I might find like
within
2 to 3 people that become
within
subs
2 to 3
because of it.
days. Within 2 to 3 days. So you're kind of just at the tail end. If you're gonna
Yeah.
do your reaction to the Cowboy Bebop, I would say do it to the teaser because you don't want to spoil stuff. There are like you won't know that there's spoilers, but there are spoilers for the anime in there. Now, if you've watched the anime, I would say watch the anime first, and then if you want it, like if that's what your plan is to do, is you want to watch the anime before the live action series, then go watch the trailer, or vice versa. Like if you watch the live action series and then you go watch the anime, then check out the trailer and see like, oh, that's cool. They're referencing this, referencing because I think you
I'm not
get
going to
more.
understand any of those because
Yeah,
I've not seen Cowboy Bebop.
exactly. So my thing is, I think you would get more enjoyment out of the trailer later, whether you react to it or whatever.
Oh, going back to it later.
Yeah, going back to it later and being like, oh, so that's what they were referencing here and stuff. Because the trailers that have enjoyed more from people are the ones where they're reacting to the trailer and they've already seen the show. So they're like that they get more excited. They're like, holy cow, this is such a good trailer because of X, Y, and Z from the show, you know? So it would be kind of like that's one of those ways that I say you could probably work that in because it's kind of like they're following this journey with you of like, hey, yeah, I watched the live action. Now we're checking out the series. It's full reactions on my Patreon and yada, the typical YouTuber stuff, as you say.
Yeah. The YouTuber things, yeah.
Yeah, you already know the YouTuber
Do
things.
the YouTuber things. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, why am I going to tell you? You know the
Yeah,
YouTuber
you know
things.
the YouTuber things. But anyway, but at the same time, it's kind of like they get to take this journey, and then it all comes full circle when you watch the trailer again, and so now you're able to connect the two together, the live action and the anime, and you're like, oh, this is really cool because of that, because of that, because of that. So definitely, it's definitely if you can find a way to kind of make it like kind of like take this journey along with me kind of thing, because there's plenty of reactors out there that are reacting to old stuff for the first time, like older anime, and
A lot of them are bigger already, though.
that is also
When you
true.
have an established community, it's so much easier. Like me trying to react to an old anime,
Mm-hmm.
it is not going to perform well at all because the reason why some of the reactions do perform well is because people are just watching these episodes. Now, how many people are just watching this niche series from 2012? Not a lot, A few people might be
Well,
just
again,
watching that niche series, but for the most part, it's searchable. Now, if you have a large community already, then it's not about a searching thing. It's going to appear in their feed. It's going to appear as their next recommended.
I will agree up to a point. I think that some series are outside of just niche, and I do get that anime is already pretty niche in and of itself.
Oh,
So you're
cult
talking,
classics, I think that
yeah,
is a little. It's a little.
but Cowboy Bebop is more cult classic in that following. But I also think something like a Yu Yu Hakusho or a Rurouni Kenshin, those are bigger things because they ended up on Toonami, and like some others ended up on Adult Swim, and it's a much bigger thing. Like, of course, you're gonna get more attention watching a My Hero Academia right now because that's the big popular thing, and of course, there's
Funny
people...
thing about that, reacting to really popular shonens when you are a small channel is a horrible idea. So, like, for example, on the channel, we did My Hero reactions
right.
that were getting a little over 100 views, which in comparison to other stuff is absolute garbage. Because,
Right.
like, I can react to, like, at the same time Nagatoro was coming out, right? I do a
Right.
reaction to Nagatoro, couple thousand. I do a reaction to My Hero, barely over 100. Same
Huh.
thing happened with damn, what is it? Attack on Titan. Because
Oh
it's big,
wow.
already established shonen. But you know what it didn't happen with was Jujutsu Kaisen, because it is a new shonen
Right.
IP and it hadn't established yet, you know? So I got into something like that early. Now obviously, you know, I mean, we all know what happened to I mean, the people that know who I am know what happened to the, you know.
But for
But
the people that
anyways,
don't know, but for the people that don't know.
nah, I mean, just if you want to find out
Well,
why
we
there's
were
no
gonna
such thing as my Jujutsu Kaisen reactions, just go to my channel, look at the very first video, you'll see all the information there.
yeah.
And
So
by my channel,
essentially,
I mean the Freshest Anime channel.
so here's the thing: we should at least talk a little bit about copyright again, because that is a thing that plays. And it's dangerous, whether it's a reaction and you're providing a commentary uh about the show. Your videos are more commentary than they are the actual reaction. You
Yeah, I
have a
mean,
lot more,
I
you have a
cut a
lot
lot
more
of it out.
commentary. Yeah. Well, I mean, yes, there's also you have to cut a lot of it out for, specific reasons, but
Yeah, obviously,
also like you take a lot of time to actually talk about the episode and theory craft and things like that. And that's appreciated. I think
it should mean something when it comes to copyright, but I don't think it does.
it doesn't. I
They don't
mean,
give a fuck.
parody should mean something when it comes to copyright,
I agree.
because we're completely changing the script. We're completely changing the soundtrack, the sound design. We're redoing all dialogue. Not, the only thing that's still the same is animation. Of course, the funny part is, because a lot of abridged series have openings, and I'm thinking we just shouldn't make tiny little AMVs as openings anymore. What we really get hit with copyright for is using 5 seconds of any kind of song. Warner Media
Yep.
is the fucking worst when it comes to this. The most egregious when it comes to copyright. We get hit on music more than we get hit by animation.
Yeah. Yeah, because the animation's not going to really, and that's the same thing that goes with the reactions. It's the sound that you really want to avoid.
Unless it's
Toei, yes. Toei is definitely
That's
dangerous.
why, if you're wondering why you don't see One Piece reactions up on YouTube much, that's why. Toei, 100%. Yeah, there would be no Jujutsu Kaisen reactions if it was from Toei. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but speaking of like the copyright stuff, the audio is definitely your worst enemy when it comes to that stuff. And a tip for everybody: add a filter that will distort the audio to make it sound different, so that way it is less obvious to pick up on. Also, if you're making more cuts in your stuff, then the audio doesn't sound like a large clip. It will sound like a bunch of different things from different parts of the episode all mashed together, or like rather sequential. So it's not going to flag. But definitely adding a filter all the time.
It's an algorithm that goes through and processes all your stuff. So if it's like X amount of seconds of this uninterrupted, it will flag the audio.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But even outside of that, just if anyone does anime reactions, just put a filter on the audio, whatever filter you want to use, whether it's like a reverb, some sort of distortion, something that's going to make it sound different, so that way it's not going to be flagged. That's a big thing. Also, try to drop the audio some, and if you're reacting to something, don't make it like perfectly visible. You want to avoid something like that too. I mean, that's just all like very standard shit that I'd say for.
That's something.
But I've been giving this advice, like the audio part of it. I've been giving that advice to so many like other reactors, like people that I've either recently talked to, or like I got hit up by a different reactor that was like, hey, how are you avoiding the copyright claims and stuff on this series when you're also doing it? Like, what are you doing different? And I'm just like, oh, well, I just added this filter, like screenshot, show you, hey, what are you working with? Like, what do you edit with? We'll use this filter. And like, I helped out that way. I have another friend, same thing. He does like some anime reactions. I knew him from back in my streaming days. He hit me up and he was like, basically the same question. Like, how do you avoid this? And I was like, hey man, actually, no, that's not true. I reached out to him because I saw his video and I was like, hey, by the way, stop doing what you're doing the way you're doing it and do it this other way just to protect yourself, man. I don't want you to get, because I saw that he got a strike like months ago. So I just wanted to help out. But yeah, I mean, big tip, use a filter on your audio.
I've seen Coach Donnie do that from Elevate Yourself. He watches full episodes of Haikyuu because he's a volleyball coach, and he stops them a lot. He stops them, and he will sit down and like talk about why they did stuff a specific way, or why it's a good thing that they chose to animate this specifically that way from the perspective of a volleyball coach or someone who plays volleyball. So it's essentially a breakdown / watch along, but he uses a lot of that audio filtering stuff, except for when he's talking, of course, about stuff when he pauses the show. But he's always got like this music that's kind of in the background, kind of covering up what's happening audio wise in the show. And he's watching full freaking episodes, one episode at a time, but full episodes, and breaking it down that way. It's crazy that he can do that. Like, he just finished season 3 of Haikyuu, but that's
Well,
the
that's
only
the thing, he can't. But if he doesn't get flagged, he doesn't get flagged, you know?
Yeah, he doesn't get flagged, but I mean, he's watching it that way, and it is completely interrupted all the time. He's interrupting to talk about stuff, but the way that he's talking about it, and I think the reason he's able to do it the way he does is because of the manner in which he's discussing the show. And it's not just he's discussing it after he's watched the show, he's discussing it in real time and going back and review. And he's like going back to show something again. He's like, hey, this is why. And he plays it back with no sound. It's just kind of like there. But like, I think it's because it's kind of, he's using it for kind of like instructional and educational purposes as well, that maybe, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, even then though, it's I mean, you have to take those precautions though. Like you said the stuff about the audio and all of that stuff, because copyright is, listen, if you're doing reactions to anything, you don't own the copyrights to it.
Right.
And honestly, the copyright infringement laws are,
yeah.
Anyways, yeah, it's just something you're always gonna have to worry about if you're ever doing any sort of reactions to anything. If it is an actual copywritten thing, then you need to be careful, no matter what.
But other things that we were talking about thumbnails before, and I showed you my atrocious Cowboy Bebop
horrible thumbnail.
Thank you.
Absolutely horrible.
I needed the co-signing. I appreciate it.
If you were doing like a, if you were purposefully, like, you could have told me like, hey, I try to make this thumbnail as bad as I could. What do you think? I'd have been like, good shit, man.
This is essentially what my brain looks like. This is what ADHD looks like in image form. That's basically what that is.
I mean, there are reactors that do similar ways to your thumbnail. I mean, obviously not like that. That's a little.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
But you're welcome. But you know, they'll do multiple screenshots and stuff. Like, I don't know if that helps or hinders. I think that simple is the best way when it comes to any sort of thumbnails. Also, find your own style to it. You know, don't try to copy everyone else. Do something that's different that you can apply to your thumbnails that'll make them unique. And even my thumbnails, I don't think they're fucking good. There's no way that somebody could tell me, oh, I think that your thumbnails are good. Honestly, I think the best thumbnails when it comes to like reactors, I think thumbnails like what's his name? FreshestAnme, I think.
Yeah.
Is his name?
Yeah.
I love his thumbnails. I think they're good. But at the same time, I also don't think they're good because I just don't know if that's what's good for reaction thumbnails. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like them. I think they look great. And honestly,
but is it just you?
No,
you have
it's something that I would be interested in.
Is it just me that likes them, or is it everybody else that likes them?
Yeah.
Like, how do you capture a general audience? And it's weird to think that, because part of me wants to just be true to myself, but also part of me wants to get numbers, you know?
Yeah,
So-
and one thing that you want to avoid is like just tons of text on your screen. You don't want to do that. Like, there's some reactors that'll like put so much text about whatever it is they're watching. Like, don't do that. That is a bad idea. You don't need to say what episode is in your reaction on the thumbnail when it's literally in your title.
Save your clickbait for the title.
Yeah, you don't even necessarily need to put if you're using an image from the series, you don't necessarily need to even put the title of the series or
They
the
know
logo
what
of
it
the
is.
series.
They'll know what it is.
Exactly. Because most of the views that you'll get from watching a specific thing and reacting, most of them are through click through, or they're click through from searching. That's what I'm trying to say. It's because of searchable terms. It's not because of recommendations as much. Now, obviously, recommendations, they'll make up a percentage, but if, like, specifically speaking from my own perspective, like, I think that 60% of the views that we get on videos are because it's being searched. And it's searched because it's new and relevant.
Right.
So hopping on the new relevant things, that's very important. You can react to older anime series if you're interested in doing something like that. And I wouldn't knock anybody for it, but I also recommend definitely jump on 1 to 2 seasonal series as well. See how that performs, because chances are they're going to perform a lot better than the old one that you're doing. Yeah, just searchable stuff is very important.
And then going back again to the comments thing, because I think this is a big issue for everybody. I guess it's just how humans are built, but we tend to focus on the negative comments more than the positive ones.
Big time.
Yeah, like I could get 100 comments. If 5 of them are negative, that's what I focus on. You know, screw the positivity of the other 95 comments or the fact that they're in the super majority. It's like, you're so right. I am a shit human being. And it's like, you know, sometimes if they're valid criticism, yeah, I'm down, and I don't mind constructive valid criticism. It's more like, you suck, and there's no basis behind why I suck, and I was like, what am I supposed to do with that? Just reply back, I wish your mom did? You know, it's like, I could be that asshole on the internet, but
you suck. Well, I wish your mom swallowed you,
yeah, exactly.
However many years old. Like, you know, like, I mean, yeah, it's just like, I don't know, man. I think that replying to them, it's just adding fuel. You can handle it. I mean, you can handle it any bunch of different ways. Now, you can handle it one way where you just, if somebody's an asshole, hide them from your channel so you never see their comments ever again. They can still watch your videos, but they'll never be able to comment. Fuck them. 2, you can delete their comments if you think that this is just like a one-off thing. Yeah, you can delete, or you can, you know, reply to them and be like, hey man, sound like an asshole. Just saying.
Don't do it
maybe
again,
don't
please.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can be like nice about it. You can be an asshole about it. You can, you know, they say something rude, you can be like, yeah, well, and then say this fucking rude thing back to them. I mean, my favorite person that does that, my favorite reactor that doesn't give a fuck, and if you say something to him that he doesn't like, he will hit you fucking, he'll just come back. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't hold anything back.
He'll be Truck Coon with him.
And that's I mean, I think Sherm mostly handles everything for Reanimated when it comes to replying to comments. He does that shit to everybody that's fucking disrespectful. A lot of people that talk in comments. Yeah, and then he'll blast you on Twitter, and I fucking love it because, the reasoning is exactly right. And his reasoning is basically like, I do it because these kids, no one's checking these kids, and these kids think that they can get away with just being an asshole online. But guess what? I'll check your ass for it. See, and I love that, man. Always check them. I love every time he posts them on Twitter, man. I just love them.
The commenters have this feeling of anonymity because because there's no one there to kind of, I guarantee you, the shit you say online, you would never freaking say to anyone to their face. No. You know, some of these, like, it's not any better for sports fans either. I kind of like the Bill Burr thing when he was talking about that. He was like, yo, basketball fans, talking about, you suck, buddy, but if you get out in the parking lot, oh, I think you're awesome, sign my stamp collection, you know, that whole thing. Yeah. It's kind of the same thing that carries over with the internet. I was like, yeah, all these people come up and talk all this shit until they have to stand in front of me.
But even not even necessarily that, a lot of times they'll say shit. A lot of times people will just say shit because they think no one's going to reply to them. They think, oh, I can just say this. I mean, this person has better things to do. They're not going to check my comment. And you know what? You're right. They do have better things to do. But sometimes people like to check their comments anyway.
Yep.
And when they do, they'll see that you're an asshole. Right. And then they will call you out for it.
Right.
So don't be an asshole.
Okay, so really quickly, just to round things off, this has mostly been. I think we could break this into two and do this a separate time, where we've talked a lot about reacting, and then I can talk about the side of things from abridging, and we can kind of relate those. So we could do this as a two-parter later if we want. If you guys enjoy this and you guys want to hear the go from the reaction side of things to the abridging side of things, leave some likes on this video. Of course, comment, be constructive, don't be assholes.
You know the YouTuber things.
Yeah.
You know the YouTuber things.
Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff.
Do the YouTuber things.
Yeah, help feed the algorithm gods so that they like us. Anyway, I want to end on talking really quickly about simply what would you say to people that want to start a reaction channel? I know what I'd say to people if they wanted to start abridging, and my thing is make sure you love it. Because if you don't love, you're going to be like, when it comes to abridging stuff, you're going to be working on this content that you've chosen for a long time. You're going to be staring at it until you get sick of it. So make sure that you love it, because if you don't, if all you do is like it, you're going to get burnout really fast. And I don't know how much burnout kicks over into reactions. I know that if you're reacting and editing your own videos, that can cause some severe burnout, because how much time for yourself do you get? Because you've got to balance that and work and like time with family, friends, significant others, all that shit. So
who are those people?
Who are those people? What is this? Like, so so that's my advice for abridging, just to keep it short, is whatever you're working on, make sure you love it, and make sure that you're passionate about wanting to make abridged content, even if it's shitty. Just getting something out there. Everybody had to start out from zero. Even the greatest artists out there had to start off with no experience at some point. So I hope that kind of takes some stress away, maybe. But what would be some advice that you would give to somebody who wanted to start?
So I have three pieces of advice that not one of them isn't necessarily about reacting, but okay. So when it comes to reactions, people love it when you hype their shit. Okay, so if you react positively to things, they love that. So you have to make a choice. If you like a series enough, you might not love it, but if you like it enough, you can react positively. Okay, but don't force yourself to react positively to shit if you don't fucking like it. I don't do that shit. I don't think anybody should do that shit. If you don't like it, just say you don't like it. If you think it's mid, then say you like it. No, if you think it's mid, then you know, just be honest. You know, try to be honest when it comes to your reactions. I don't think everybody does, because they realize that positive reactions are the best ones. It's either you are extremely positive or you're negative of everything. But I think the people that are negative of everything are just memes. I don't think it's fucking real.
I think it's just trying to get a rise out of people.
The other thing, when it comes to content creation in general, this is not your fucking job, okay? It's not your job until it literally can replace a job. So do not go into content creation thinking that this is your job. Have a job and make content. Trust me, way better. Now, you might not have a personal life like myself, because you literally take, I do like 100+ hours, I would say, maybe, 100 hours a week, making content and working my job, combined the two, which is horrible. But I try to spend all of the leftover time with my girlfriend.
That's why I don't recommend new shows for you to react to. I'm like, hey, here's a show you might want to watch with Diana. Like, maybe. Yeah.
Who knows?
Here's a thing you two might be able to enjoy just sitting down and watching,
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah,
hey, man,
again,
here's some video games the two of you can play together. Just something that you can enjoy with her if you, because I'm like, Jesus Christ, how much fucking time do you have? Oh, that's right, 0.
None. Yeah, none. But yeah, again, just
I feel
definitely...
bad just for doing this.
You're good, dude. You're good. Just know that this is not your job. Don't think it is. There was a point in time where I got into streaming thinking, oh, this could be my job. And when you are getting consistent $100 paychecks for working, if you consider streaming work, working, 8 hours a day, 5 days, like 40 hours a week, every single week. That's 160 hours, and you're getting maybe 100 and something, not even $160. You're not even getting a dollar an hour for your time. It's not your job, man. Don't think it is. And also, content creation, know that there are other areas where you can. Don't think that just because one thing's working, you have to stick with this one thing. Test the waters a little bit sometimes.
Case in point, we're doing reviews and chats and interviews on top of abridging.
I want to do reviews too. Like, I just finished all of the 22 volumes of Golden Kamuy I have. I've seen all of Golden Kamuy. I wanted to do like a review of it. I think I'm a shit script writer, so it's like tough. I would have to do like an unscripted thing, and I think those are ass.
If that's the thing, I'd say start with bullet points, and from those bullet points, what you would do is take those bullet
outlining
points, and then you start from there. So it's okay. No BS. This is legit how my silly ADHD brain does essays, and I scored like 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 6 on essays. So what I would do is I would be like, okay, what is an essay? Well, it's an opening. It's an opening statement, a closing statement, and 5 paragraphs about whatever the topic is that we're talking about. Okay, so let me write 5 bullet points about this topic real quick, and then just bullshit about each talking point for a whole 5 sentences or more, which is a paragraph. So I just presented like an opening statement, and then just BS about this one bullet point for a paragraph, BS about the next bullet point for a paragraph, and then by the time you're done, you've got an essay, and you just turn that in, and
that works really good until you get to college, and they're like, "Well, MLA, I need citations," and then you're like, how can I find a bullshit citation that's not Wikipedia? Put this in there. Can I just quote one sentence? Then bullshit. I mean, it works for the most part, but if you go to university, it doesn't work.
I was at MTSU, and they did not have a problem with that. Like, I just
what is the M and the T?
Middle Tennessee State University.
Oh, it sounds like a legit university. Huh?
It is. Like, it is.
You got away with it, dude. I could not get away with it when I went to FSU.
This was in 2007 versus.
Okay.
So
versus like 2014.
Yeah, there may be a bit of a difference now. Also, like, okay, actually, it was all right. So Facebook was just getting off the ground, and MySpace was still big. So that'll I've dated myself horribly.
My best friend Tom, dude. He's friends with everybody.
That dude still exists. He's got money. He's got money. He's still.
And you know what else he's got? Friends.
Right. Alrighty. But yeah, was that
was it?
Final
yeah,
one?
that was the third one. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
My brain is just trying to get.
I broke up 1 into 2, and then the third one was just about content creation in general. Like, because a lot of people go into it, man. They'll be like, "This is my job. I want to make this a job." Like, don't do that. It's a bad idea.
See,
anyways,
the thing is, if you go in with the intention of trying to make it a job, it's gonna feel like a job. If you go in doing something
good advice.
If you go in from it as like, hey, this would be like a cool hobby that could also potentially down the line make money, that's nice. But like, if you're gonna feel like it's a job if that's how you start approaching.
Oh shit! Another thing: don't compare yourself to other creators.
Shit.
Horrible idea. Do not do that. You see somebody else succeeding, don't think that they are better than you or whatever. It's just everybody has their time in the spotlight.
But Joe,
everybody
are all better than me.
No, don't say that. See, it just takes time, man. Everything takes time. And that's another thing. Everything takes time. Experience matters. You gain experience to become better. Nobody starts off being perfect.
Another important thing. Another important thing to jump off of on that. Please know the difference between humility and depression, because there's a difference. There is a huge difference. There are people that watch our abridged content and they're like, "You are just as good as something witty and Team 4-Star." And I'm like, we appreciate the compliment. We just don't see it. We don't think that's true. Like, we're not think we're quite at their level, we're not getting down on ourselves. We're not like, this is the worst episode ever. Like, trust me when I say that. Don't start off thinking it's humility that eventually winds its way into depression. Like, know the difference between the two. I'm not doing a very good job of describing it, but hopefully
I
I
don't
got
know
it
what
across.
the fuck you're talking about.
No, there are people that will start, but like it will start off by them trying to be humble. It's like, no, we're not as good as this. And we've had those kind of comments where it's like, oh man, y'all are the best compared to this. And we're like, okay, I watch their content and I'm a fan of their content, and like they've had years to get to the level that they're at. We're not there yet. And like, yeah, we may have the potential, but like, I'm just being honest, but it comes, I would hope that it comes across as humility, but I'm just being honest. We're not that level, but there's a difference.
Oh, okay. So, being humble versus
Depression.
but wording it like that threw me
or
off.
being down on yourself, or just constantly
That's exactly
being
the words I was
negative
going
on
to use.
yourself.
Yeah. Instead of like, sometimes being humble can be taken as putting yourself down, but don't ever think that.
Don't ever think that way. Stay positive about your stuff, even if you don't think it's at the level that it should be at yet. I mean, it takes a long time. The best
experience. Just said that.
The best way to describe it is, no one sees the mountain of failure; they only see the peak of success. All right. That having been said, with our weird analogies, I would like to come back and have another chat with you sometime soon, even if it's not necessarily on abridging. Other places that we cross over, we both read light novels on Twitch. So,
dude, we could talk about fucking how far I am in it,
Yeah,
I just finished volume 7.
I'm on chapter 3, is where I'm at, of volume 7.
And what's crazy is you were
that.
on volume 3 when I started volume 1.
I slowed down quite a bit and had to take some time off. So yeah, it made it a lot easier for you to catch up.
Yeah. Finally.
Well, I mean, if we're just talking about me reading the books, I finished volume 12, so...
Yeah, I don't read these things outside. I have all of them, though.
There you go.
Or not all of them, but I have 1 through 12.
There's a lot. Also, I'm reading, like, I've seen you read Spider one day, and then the next day you're reading it again. And I'm like, this son bitch, I was trying to stay ahead, but I think it was like you were determined to finish the book, so you continued over 1 week.
No, it's just I forget to change my titles on Twitch. That's all it is.
No, I came in on a Saturday. I think I came in on a Saturday and you were reading.
I can't hear anything.
Okay. Anyway, so we're leaving. Don't worry.
Oh, we're good? Okay. I mean, you want to do an outro? I'll act like I can still hear things. Okay.
So guys, thank you so much for coming by. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.